to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Thursday, August 29th here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and you're watching News Generation. Today, we're joined by Choi.
Happy Thursday!
Happy Thursday, and Brooke Prince.
Hello, good morning.
Great to have you. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. Now, as usual, we're going to start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items trending online. The Paris 2024 Paralympic Games kicked off on Wednesday night in the French capital. Following in the footsteps of the Paris Olympics, which ended almost 3 weeks ago, the opening ceremony was held outdoors along the Champs-Élysées Avenue and the nearby Place de la Concorde Square. Para-canoe athlete Choi Yong-bum carried South Korea's flag during the Parade of Nations on behalf of Team Korea's 83 athletes. Over 4,000 athletes from 168 delegations are set to compete across 22 sports. The 17th Summer Paralympic Games will run until September 8th. In entertainment news, Adore, the sub-label of HYBE that manages the popular K-pop girl group NewJeans, has announced a leadership change. CEO Min Hee-jin has been replaced by Chief Human Resources Officer Kimjang. Adore stated that the change was made through legal procedures following a shareholders meeting, adding that Min will remain as the company's internal director, continuing to produce content for NewJeans. However, Min has disputed this decision, claiming it was illegal, unilateral, and made without her consultation regarding her continued role in content production for the group. Finally, a recent social media post by an employee at a dental clinic in Korea has sparked online debate. The post recounts an incident involving a 23-year-old man who visited the clinic on his own. He was fully informed about the cavity treatment and its costs and received the treatment that same day. However, just a few hours later, the clinic received a call from the man's mother angrily demanding, "How could you treat my child without the guardian's permission?" The situation escalated when the mother reported the incident to a local health center. Now, despite this, the clinic successfully resolved the issue using objective documentation. The employee who shared the story expressed disbelief, questioning at what point someone should no longer be considered a child. Online reactions mostly criticized the mother's overprotectiveness, with some asking, is she going to follow him to the army or work too? So here in the studio, I want to ask our panelists, what are your thoughts on this incident?
I think it's a very interesting story.
It is indeed.
And coming from an American perspective, for us, young people typically leave the nest, so to speak, when they turn 18 and they go to college. But in Korea, I'm aware that a lot of young people live with their parents up until they get married.
Right.
So there is kind of a different sense of independence. So at first, when I read the story, I thought, well, maybe this is a cultural difference. And so I didn't want to judge the mother too harshly. And also, I will say, as the daughter of a doctor, I call my dad about every little medical issue that I have. I like to keep him informed because I think you never really stop being a parent. They always worry about you. But it's up to me to inform my dad of those things if I choose to. And so I think in this case, it was also up to the son to tell his mother if he wanted to. And it wasn't the responsibility of the hospital to inform her of one of their adult patients. So that's my take on it. But I'm curious, as Koreans, would you say that this is something normal culturally, or is it out of the norm?
Well, I would say that it's not that normal.
Yeah.
But I would like to ask Ji too, from a Korean's perspective. What do you think?
No, I agree with Yujin that it's not like the norm. And I also agree with you, Brooke, that children can inform their parents, even though they're adults, about what's going on in their life. And we've actually covered a similar topic on this issue before, helicopter parents, parents who are overly protective of their adult children. And I think this incident highlights like the fine line between parental care and overprotection. Of course, a parent being concerned about the well-being of their children is understandable.
Yeah, it's natural.
It's very natural. However, at 23 years old, the man is legally an adult and capable of making his own decisions, especially regarding something as routine as dental treatments, I think. And the mother's reaction seems excessive, and it once again shows the importance of allowing young adults to really take responsibility for their own lives. And I think over-involvement by the parents to their adult children can hinder their ability to grow, the ability to become independent and also being self-sufficient. But from another perspective, though, maybe the son paid with his mother's card.
That's why the mother got angry and called the hospital.
Yeah,
understandable.
We can't overlook that. And sometimes the dental hospitals, they do overcharge you for unnecessary treatment. So yeah, it's a different perspective we should take.
So a lot to consider regarding this incident. Hope the son and his mother gets to resolve this issue peacefully. And that was our news feed for this Thursday. So we're now going to move on to our main discussion of the day. Today we're going to talk about what's often called the soul food of Koreans. Take a look at the screen to find out more.
South Korea's kimchi export volume reached a record high in the first half of this year. According to the Korea Agro-Fisheries and Food Trade Corporation and Korea Customs Service, 23,900 tons of kimchi were shipped overseas, up 4.8% from the same period last year. Exports to the West saw a significant increase, with a 20% rise in the US and a 34% jump in the Netherlands. What's driving this growing global demand for kimchi?
Right, so today we're going to talk about kimchi. Here in Korea, there's even a song called the Kimchi song. Can I try the song,
yes, please? How does it go?
So it goes, 김치 없이 못 살아, which translates to English, you cannot live without kimchi. And I think that this song and Korea's kimchi culture and the love for kimchi really shows how deeply embedded the dish is in the Korean diet. So let's start off with a very light question. Do you also enjoy kimchi? Can you not live without it?
I can't live without kimchi. That was such a cute little melody.
Sorry to our viewers.
Yes, and it really shows how we really do love kimchi. And if I had to choose between a burger without Coke and ramen without kimchi.
A tough question.
It is a tough question, right? But I would definitely go for the burger without Coke, because kimchi or ramen without kimchi, I can't really imagine. Yes, and as we all know, kimchi is Korea's traditional fermented food. It's made by salting and fermenting vegetables, which are then seasoned with various spices. And the flavor, we've all tried kimchi, right? It's
delicious.
Yes, very delicious. It's quite spicy with a savory kick, and it's a unique Korean dish enjoyed both in South and North Korea. Usually it's not eaten on its own, although Brook does, like a main dish. But here it's served more as a side dish with rice, noodles, and whatnot. And personally, my favorite combination is kimchi with steamed sweet potatoes.
Oh, that's such a unique but delicious, well-known combination in Korea, right?
It is, definitely.
So Ji-hee is a big fan of kimchi. I'm pretty sure Brooke is, because Ji just mentioned that you have kimchi as your main dish, right?
Yes, I love it. And you know, last time I was on, I talked about coffee.
Right.
And now I'm talking about kimchi. So I love this pattern. I love getting to talk about things that I enjoy. And kimchi is one of them. I think of other food as a vehicle for kimchi.
Oh, wow.
So while most people might think of kimchi as a side dish, for me, it is the star of the show. I love it so much. I have it almost every day. And whenever I go to restaurants with my Korean friends, I'm usually the first one to ask for more kimchi.
Really?
I actually run out. And then the staff will come to me and they'll say, "Are you sure you're okay to eat the kimchi? Is it not too spicy for you?" Because I'm a foreigner. And I get this question a lot because typically they assume that foreigners can't handle spicy food as well. And there is a reason for that. My family, for example, cannot eat spicy food very well. So when they came to Korea, I was a little worried about them trying Korean food, but I wanted them to get the experience. And they actually loved kimchi. They did say it was a little spicy, but they really enjoyed the added flavor it gave to other meals. So I think that even if foreigners might not be used to the taste yet, if they just give it a try, I think they'll love it.
Right. So I think that our international viewers who are tuning in right now would be curious and want to know more about kimchi. So for those who might not be familiar with the dish, let's do a quick quiz session on some interesting fun facts about kimchi. So we're back with our O and X sign. Please raise a sign depending on your answer. So our first question is, number one, all kimchi is red. 1, 2, 3. So you guys both raised X. Please explain why.
Well, of course not.
Why?
Because there's also white kimchi, and we've tried it. We ate it last week actually in our haeshik or group lunch. Well, long ago, however, there used to be only white kimchi, they say. So the red version is more recent. And we're, of course, more familiar with the red version. And foreigners mostly know kimchi as being red, but there are also different colored kimchi.
So have you tried white kimchi too, Brooke?
I have. I first tried the traditional, well, what I thought was the original red. I thought that came first, but then I started trying other kinds, and I have tried the white kimchi, just like at our last Haeshik, like Chihi mentioned, we had it with duck, and it was so delicious. They went really well together.
Right, so a tip for our viewers, white kimchi pairs great with duck. So let's move on to our second question. Number 2, kimchi can only be made from cabbage. 1, 2, 3. XO? Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
My bad.
I was like, gee.
So can either of you provide an explanation why you chose X?
Well, of course not, once again.
Of course not.
Of course not. Cabbage kimchi is the most commonly known among foreigners, but there are over 300 different kinds of kimchi.
Wow.
Yeah, made of different ingredients such as radish, leek, spring onion, and many more. And they have different seasonings, and they even put different ingredients like raw fish even, or like oysters, depending on the different region of the country. Yeah, so there are a lot more.
Right. So we took the time, we had a small quiz session on some fun, lesser known facts about kimchi. Now I want to ask our panelists, are there any other interesting facts about the dish or the culture that you'd like to share?
Oh yes, there's the Kimjang culture, which is the tradition of making kimchi. And did you know that it was recognized as a UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage back in 2013? So it's become a world-renowned cultural asset now. And usually when the cold winds signal the beginning of winter, Koreans typically start preparing kimchi to last throughout the year. And it's usually made in large portions so that they can share it among the family and even neighbors. In the past, I have fond memories myself as well of helping my grandma not make kimchi, but taste
the best part.
Yeah, she used to make. And enjoying freshly made kimchi with hot rice and boiled pork, or suyuk we call it in Korean.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's just the best. However, these days, you can easily find convenient meal kits as well with salted cabbage and the seasoning mix. So you can make just small portions for yourself.
Well, I had breakfast today, but I'm feeling already hungry now.
Me too.
Thanks to you, Chihi. Well, Brooke, you are relatively new to kimchi and Korea's kimchi culture when compared to me and Chihi. So looking back on when you first came to Korea 8 years ago, is there anything unique about Korea's kimchi culture that kind of drew your attention?
Yeah, I actually had never tried kimchi before I came to Korea, but as soon as I landed, I really wanted to experience all of the Korean food because I am a very adventurous eater. I'm not picky at all, so I was super excited. And the first time I tried kimchi was at a Haeshik. We've talked about it earlier in the show. That's a typical gathering amongst coworkers where you eat and drink together and you get to know each other. And so I remember at my first Haeshik, they were all kind of looking at me and waiting with bated breath to see how I would handle the kimchi flavor because it's quite strong if you're not used to it. But I loved it immediately. I loved the way it tasted with the meat. And to this day, that's one of my favorite combinations. But more than just that, I remember the kimchi being kind of like the centerpiece of the meal. It was something that brought everyone together. And so I have really fond memories of kimchi. And that was also the first time that I got to experience a Korean meal. It's very family style, whereas in America, when you order your food, that's your food. No one else gets to touch it. But in Korea, everyone shares everything. So I have a lot of really nostalgic memories around kimchi, and I think a lot of Koreans have that as well. I don't yet have like a kimchi refrigerator in my home, which a lot of Koreans have, but I do hope that one day that I will learn how to properly make it and store it myself. Maybe you can give me some tips.
Right, and then you can share your experience here on NewsGen.
I would love to.
And the reason why we chose this topic today is because, as you've seen, the VCR kimchi exports during the first half of this year hit a record high. So very briefly, I want to ask our panelists, what do you think is like the one reason why kimchi has become so popular worldwide?
Well, like we've been talking about, the popularity of kimchi is undeniable now, but I don't think it's just because of the savory taste that it has, but because kimchi is also a healthy food.
Right.
It's packed with nutrients, rich in probiotics, and known for its cancer-fighting and immune-boosting properties as well. And kimchi is incredibly versatile as well. It can adapt to local food trends, whether it's gluten-free, vegan, or tailored to regional tastes. And Brooke later on will tell us more about why it's versatile in some other ways as well. But kimchi also became more popular with Hallyu, or the Korean wave, and the integration of it into popular culture really signifies more than just the culinary trend, but also reflects cultural exchange. And it can really become or serve as a conduit for understanding among different cultures and people as well.
Right, because when you see K-dramas or K-movies, the characters they almost always have kimchi. So maybe a lot of K-wave fans want to try kimchi. Now, what are some versatile ways to enjoy kimchi, Brooke?
Right. Well, I do think kimchi is so popular because it's so dynamic. You can use it in so many different ways. Like we mentioned earlier, there are over 300 different kinds of kimchi. You can also use it in a lot of different meals. Like as you're seeing on the screen, there's kimchijang, which is a type of pancake.
Right.
There's also kimchi jjigae, which is a type of stew, one of my favorite meals. There are kimchi dumplings, ramen. Oh, this all looks so good. Many different ways that you can enjoy kimchi. But beyond just its taste, kimchi is a symbol of national pride for Korea.
Right.
Whenever I go over to a Korean friend's house, they are very proud to show me their kimchi refrigerator, to have me try their kimchi, because I think every family has a different way of doing it. They pass their recipes down for generations, and so it's something that they're very proud of. And as a foreigner, I'm really excited to be included in that. And I also think that with the Korean wave gaining momentum, there are a lot of foreigners that are wanting to experience Korean's national dish as well.
Right, and talking about the diverse ways we can enjoy kimchi, we also asked our viewers if they've tried kimchi and what foods from their own cultures they think would pair well with it. And here's what 3 of them said. If we look at the comments, Spiritual Success says it goes well after eating any meat or heavy food since it aids digestion, and as a vegetable, it helps settle the stomach if you eat a little too much. Kimchi is basically good with anything except sweets and desserts. Chemophile14 says, I think kimchi must be tasted with shrimp pizza. If people can add pineapple on shrimp pizza, then why not kimchi? Wow, I might as well try this recipe. Marilyn Period says, I tried kimchi with Granny Goose tortilla barbecue chips. It's delicious. Very creative ways for our viewers trying to have kimchi by pairing it with foods from their own culture. Now, to find out even more about kimchi and its culture, we're going to invite a kimchi expert to our talks right after this break. Right, so today we're joined by No Ji-yeon, manager of the museum Kimchigan in Seoul. Welcome, Ji-yeon, to the show.
Hello, thank you for inviting me today.
Thank you for joining us. So going right into our first question, could you tell us about the popularity of kimchi overseas?
Okay. Interest in kimchi among foreigners has really grown. In fact, 6 out of 10 of our recent guests are from different countries, including Southeast Asia, France, and Russia. When we first moved to Insadong in 2015, about 70% of our visitors were locals and around 30% were foreigners. But after being closed for nearly 2 years during the pandemics, we reopened it in May 2022. And since then, the number of foreign visitors has been steadily increasing. Last year, over 40% of our visitors were from abroad. And this June alone, that number jumped to 60%. The rising global interest in KFood and the health benefits of kimchi have definitely contributed to this trend. Our hands-on kimchi making programs are becoming more and more popular. We even have some participants who have already tried making kimchi before and are eager to learn about different varieties. We also get chefs. We also get chefs who come specifically to learn about kimchi, and there's been a noticeable increase in people asking where they can buy kimchi after the experience.
I see. Then how do you think kimchi has managed to captivate so many people around the world? Are there any specific types of kimchi?
I believe it all started with the rise of Hallyu Korean wave, you guys said, which includes K-dramas and K-pop. As Korean celebrities gained more popularity around the world, people started to become more curious about Korean food. The concept of healthiness became a key aspect of Korean cuisine in the eyes of many. Also, when other pandemics like SARS or MERS emerged, the benefits of kimchi were highlighted, which further fueled interest among foreigners in making kimchi themselves and exploring healthy eating habits. As a result, these dishes that use kimchi and foods that pair well with it have also gained popularity. I think that's why kimchi has seen a surge in global interest and recognized as one of world's top 5 healthiest foods. Also, Koreans often assume that foreigners can't handle spicy, but surprisingly, the most popular type among them is actually 배추 kimchi, the classic red cabbage kimchi made with gochugaru, which is iconic in Korea. Recently, we've also noticed a growing interest in food choices related to environmental concerns, partly due to climate change. For instance, there's an increasing number of people around us who are interested in or practicing veganism. We even get inquiries about vegan options when guests book our experience programs. Although we can't customize every ingredient to individual preference, we do offer vegan-friendly experiences that do not use fish sauce, use locally sourced seasonal ingredients that everyone can enjoy.
So very fun, interesting facts about kimchi. All right, Tion, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, but hope today's discussion here on NewsDen helps you learn more about kimchi. Now, NewsDen will be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks today to Choi-Ji-hee.
Thank you.
And Brooke Prince.
Thank you. Gonna go have some kimchi.
Kimchi. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. We are News Generation.